What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be taking a deep look at the new underbarrel crossbow attachment in Black Ops 6 to see exactly how it works, all of the stats on it that you need to know, and then toward the end I did want to share my thoughts on this as well. So starting it off, this crossbow attachment is unlocked via the Battle Pass, however it is in the free tiers of the Battle Pass on page 7, so you don't actually need to buy the Battle Pass to get this, you just need to grind to page 7 and get that unlocked. And it's available on all of the assault rifles, the SWAT 556, as well as the AEK 973. And taking a look at the basics, as expected, this is an underbarrel that you can swap to just like you would with any underbarrel launcher in the game, and it fires an explosive crossbow bolt that will explode after impact. Now the explosion on this isn't very big, it doesn't have very much reach to it. Our maximum hit radius with this explosive is only 2.7 meters, and at that point you're only dealing about 30 damage to a non-flak jacket user. So it's really not going to hurt you that much, even if it is fairly close to you there. And then when it comes to our kill radius against non-flak jacket players, the crossbow bolt has to explode within 1.8 meters of you, which is quite close. You have to be practically standing on top of it for it to actually kill you if you've got full health. Now, of course, if you're using flak jacket, it can't kill you at all unless it sticks you. So it could be shot right between your legs. You could literally be standing on top of that bolt and it won't kill you with flak jacket. However, if they stick you with it, you will of course be dying at that point. Now, a few other things to be aware of. You can fire a shot every 3.1-ish seconds with the crossbow, meaning our rate of fire is only about 19 rounds per minute, so you're not going to be able to spam these out very quickly by any means. Also, when it comes to our sprint out time, it's quite interesting. It appears to just match what the base sprint out time is for the gun that this is attached to. And what I mean by that is, with the XM4, for instance, we've got a base sprint out time of 190 milliseconds, and therefore, coming out of a sprint, if you've got the crossbow already out and ready to use, it's going to take you 190 milliseconds to fire that shot, even if you're using attachments like the CQB grip, for instance, to improve your sprint to fire time. That doesn't seem to apply to the crossbow itself. Next, let's talk about trajectory a little bit with the crossbow, and you'll notice when you have this out and ready to go, this is the reticle you will see. We've got a top dot and a bottom dot here, and based on my testing, the top dot seems to be zeroed at roughly 20 to 30 meters. So at that range, you just want to aim directly on target with that top dot, and that's where your bolt will be hitting. Whereas that bottom dot seems to be zeroed at about 80 meters, which is pretty rare in this game. But if you are going for that crazy long shot, if the enemy is 80 meters away, you want to put that bottom dot right on that target, and that will get you the kill on them. And it's also worth noting, in really close ranges, you're actually firing the crossbow bolt a little bit above that top dot. So if you are in point blank situations and you're trying to get like a headshot on somebody, for instance, you actually want to make sure you're aiming a little bit below the head. Otherwise, that bolt may just go right above their head. Additionally, we have the ability to sort of aim down sight. Like, it's not a full aim down sight, but if you hit the aim down sight button, it will sort of tighten up your field of view a little bit. And I wanted to test to see if it's actually making this any more accurate when aiming down sight, and it doesn't appear to be. As far as I can tell, you're just as accurate in hipfire versus aim down sight, and there really doesn't appear to be much randomness to this as well. Like, it is going to go right where that dot says it's going to go, outside of the drop that you have to compensate for, which we just talked about, but it's not going to have any notable random deviation to the left or to the right. It is actually quite consistent whether you're hipfiring or aiming. And that pretty much wraps it up as far as the base stats of the crossbow goes. I guess one other thing to mention here is by default, you're going to spawn in with 2 bolts, which can be replenished by the assault pack, but unfortunately not scavenger based on my testing. So that is one big limitation with the crossbow. And you may be curious, what happens with these against trophy systems? Do they ignore the trophy system? Will a trophy block it? Well, let's take a quick look at that. And based on my testing here, the trophy will block one of these crossbow bolts. However, at the same time, the crossbow bolt will counter the trophy system in the sense that just one of these bolts will immediately destroy a trophy system. When typically a trophy system will actually block 4 pieces of equipment, not in this case, it will only block one of these. So they kind of counter each other, and this may actually be a reasonably decent use of the crossbow attachments, especially in something like Hardpoint, where you tend to see a lot of trophy systems. You could just use the crossbow bolt as a method of quickly destroying a trophy system, so then you can follow that up with a grenade, for instance. Or maybe you just want to help your team out by destroying those trophies, and you can just lob these in the direction of the hardpoint. And with that, that's pretty much it. That's going to wrap it up for the breakdown of the crossbow. Now, I just wanted to share some of my thoughts on this. And this is the type of thing where I think it's a neat addition to the game. I hope they keep bringing little things like this. It adds some interesting element to the game without being totally overpowered, at least in my eyes. In fact, if you're playing against really good players like you've seen in the background gameplay today, The crossbow is practically useless. At best, you're typically going to end up with a trade, like they'll kill you before the crossbow bolt ends up blowing up. So on one hand, it is frustrating that with the matchmaking system they've got, it's like they don't want you to branch out and try fun, unique things like this. Especially while playing solo, if you're a good player, it's still expecting you to carry your teammates to victory, but doing that with a crossbow is not really going to happen. On the other hand though, while it is unfortunate that it clashes with the matchmaking system so heavily like this, I do like the fact that they try to bring fun, unique, interesting things to the game. And honestly, I wish we would see even more things like this. I'm sure they will be continuing to add these over time. And I know I have brought this up a few times in some recent videos, but this is something that Modern Warfare 3 did an excellent job with their aftermarket parts system. It seems Treyarch is trying to replicate that to a small degree. They're not really taking it as far. We're not getting stuff like this like on a weekly basis. But I really like having this fairly consistent gameplay altering content that offers a new way to play the game that also hopefully doesn't destroy weapon balance or anything, which I don't think the crossbow does, just to keep things a little more interesting with the gameplay. Now, at the end of the day, am I going to be using the crossbow very often? No, probably not. It's the type of thing I might use every now and then for just a fun messing around challenge. And I think it's totally fine to have things like that in the game. Now, of course, these are just my opinions, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about the crossbow in those comments down below. And if you enjoyed this one, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.